Welcome to the Great Basin Smoke Dispersion Briefing for Monday, February 5th. This is Gina McGuire. Over the last 2 weeks, we've seen precipitation again targeted over northern areas of the Great Basin, mainly across the higher terrain of Idaho into Wyoming, and this precipitation has been near normal in some areas for the time of year. Further south, we've had very little precipitation, and anything we have had has been either non-existent or well below normal for the last 2-week period. Looking at the snowfall over the last 72 hours, again, we have had new snowfall mainly across the central Idaho mountains into Wyoming and far northern Utah. And again, this is where our snowpack is the deepest across the Great Basin. We still do have snowpack up into the central Sierra. However, this snowpack in the Sierra and even across much of Utah is well below normal for the time of year. The snowpack we have up across Idaho and Wyoming is near normal. The satellite loop from this morning with 500 millibar height overlaid on top of it shows generally northwest flow across the Great Basin, with any clouds and showers today generally affecting Idaho, Wyoming into northern Utah. Further south and west, we will have more clear skies or very limited cloud cover and warm temperatures. Now looking at the general weather pattern for later today, you can see still that northwest flow with any clouds and showers affecting northern and eastern areas of the Great Basin. However, overall, new precipitation amounts will be rather light. Looking at the ventilation index, you can see poor dispersion in areas over southern and western areas of the basin, further away from that system and closer to the ridge of high pressure, where well above normal temperatures will dominate, with dry conditions. Over Idaho and the eastern areas of the basin, we will have better dispersion today. Looking at the transport winds, you can see generally the breezy northwest winds continuing across Idaho, Wyoming, and northern Utah, again closer to that area of high pressure, with lighter winds to the south and west. Same for mixing heights. Moderate to high mixing heights over the eastern and northern areas and lower mixing heights further south and west. Moving on into Tuesday, very little change in the pattern with that ridge still amplifying off the west coast, keeping western and southern areas of the basin very warm and dry. We still may have some lingering showers up across Idaho or Wyoming on Tuesday and possibly northern Utah, but again, amounts will be on the lighter side. So good dispersion in the north and east again on Tuesday and poor dispersion over western areas. On Tuesday, you can see the general wind pattern, still northwest winds dominating over the eastern half of the Great Basin, with wind speeds generally 20 to 30 miles per hour at a maximum. Much lighter winds to the west, and again, fairly good mixing heights over Utah and the Arizona Strip, with lower mixing heights to the north and west. On Wednesday, still have that ridge dominating much of the Great Basin. We will see drier weather across most areas. Could have a few lingering clouds or showers over the central Idaho mountains, but really for the most part, the Great Basin will be dry and warm. Also, as that ridge pushes a little bit further east, wind flow will decrease and dispersion will decrease area-wide. On Wednesday, the only gusty winds will be up across Idaho and Wyoming, where mixing heights will be in the moderate range. Elsewhere, mixing heights will be lower with weaker wind flow. Looking at the forecast clearing index for Utah over the next few days, and you can see this pattern change we already discussed. Generally higher clearing indices, especially over northern areas and in the higher terrain of Utah as we go through today. And similar conditions will occur tomorrow as we're still seeing some influence of that low pressure system exiting. However, as we approach Wednesday, clearing indices will drop significantly across the state. Looking at the overall forecast amount of precipitation for the next 3 days, and again, any precipitation we do see will be up across Idaho, Wyoming, and northern Utah, and generally on the light side. We will continue to hang on to this warm and dry pattern across at least the southern two-thirds of the Great Basin through Thursday with above normal temperatures and dry weather. On Thursday, we may see a return of clouds and some showers to northern areas as another system drops south. Dispersion will remain quite poor across the Great Basin for another day on Thursday. As we move towards Friday and Saturday, there is some differences in a lot of the model forecasts. Right now, some of the models are showing a colder system dropping south across the Great Basin beginning on Friday, and this would increase winds and upper level flow over the northern areas of the basin, increasing dispersion, especially across Idaho, northern Nevada, into northern Utah. By Saturday, this system drops south, this inside slider, across the Great Basin, and if the track is like the image shown, where the area of low pressure really dives south, we will see cooler temperatures area-wide. Right now, this system is looking fairly dry, as any snow showers we do see out of it would probably be fairly light, but right now that northerly wind with much colder temperatures would be the main change as we go through the weekend. But again, models are really having trouble with this system, so it may change significantly in the days to come. If it were to look like this, we would have good dispersion across the area on Saturday. And again on Sunday, we'd see generally that system slide south with good dispersion over the southern two-thirds of the Great Basin. Looking at the forecast amount of precipitation from Thursday morning through Saturday morning, and again, only precipitation would be on the lighter side and up over central Idaho into Wyoming as that next system begins to drop south. Looking at the overall pattern for the middle of February, we are still looking at above normal temperatures and below normal precipitation area-wide. That concludes the briefing for today. Please check back on Wednesday for the latest updates.